sounds like Dave, the straight shot firearms guy.
That was good. That's good how he could sit across the room when you still hear him.
We can still hear him.
Let me
Got
turn
the
his,
best mics in the industry.
I'll turn his mic off. In case he wants to,
Hey, guys!
Hey, fuck you. All right. Here we are. Back at Chasers.
What episode is this?
7.
7. Episode 7.
Yeah.
Sweet. It's been a while since that's your phone.
It's been It's
Don't bang the table.
Don't look at me when you do it.
God, you're loud.
Sorry. Let me move the mic. We're just getting situated here, people.
Sorry. We rushed in here and trying to get it all situated. I honestly didn't know you were recording.
I want to catch, reality here.
Oh, people screaming in the background.
Yeah. Extremities.
Right. So, what's going on?
Nothing.
What do you have to talk about?
Let's talk about my smoke, dog. I'm going with the old faithful here.
Sorry, I was distracted.
La Roma de Cuba.
We did 7 episodes. This is number 7, and I think you smoked that on 5 of them.
Yes.
I mean, it's good. It's a good go-to smoke. I can't.
It's a great smoke. I love it. What do you have?
I don't know. It's called a Kuwait Beyond Cigars.
Kuwait.
Yeah, I believe.
Is that where it's from?
It says it's got the Kuwait flag on it.
Shut up.
Yeah, look.
Huh.
Yeah,
Really?
so
It's got a little
I'm
hint of
not
sand.
100% if it's from the cigar club. Came from that shelf in the humidor, so I'm like, maybe. So I don't know what I did, but
It's a. It's a nice.
that was the sound of the drinks arriving.
Yeah.
I think we need some coasters to deaden that sound.
Or a pillow. We need one of those hemorrhoid little donuts.
Right?
I could put my ashtray right there and my drink.
So I don't know if this is from the cigar club, but it is really good.
So it looks like it's about a well, I guess it's a torpedo, huh?
It's a torpedo, about 6.5 inches. I got to look it up to see where I got it. I'll find out.
That's a good cut on that. So how far do you go in on your torpedo?
So that's a good question because most torpedoes are triple or even quad.
Because of just the round nose?
Right. Like, for those of you who don't know what a torpedo is, it's a sharpened pencil, basically. And if you have a sharpened pencil...
It looks like a 20 millimeter bullet.
Or that. 7.62. Basically, you want to take off the lead if you had a pencil.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously a fat pencil. But you want to take the part that would be the lead that you would have in a pencil. So that, check the draw.
Make sure you get a photo of that so we can...
I will. Throw it up there.
Throw it up.
So a lot of guys will do a V-cut.
Really?
Yeah, it's not the best, but a lot of guys like V-cut.
How do you even hold that thing still?
For the V-cut?
For the V-cut, you know what I mean? Dude, that's got to be tough on it. I never even thought of doing a V-cut on a torpedo.
Yeah, a lot of guys do. And to get it centered and to get it correct, it takes...
I guess it takes a little bit of skill.
Yeah, I'm going to do a pick shot. But it's a good smoke so far.
It looks really good. Looks like it's about a 54 ring.
Well, it's hard to tell because a torpedo is smaller. But yeah, it's about a 54, 56.
Yeah.
I had this cigar yesterday.
54 on... You had that cigar yesterday?
No, I had a cigar yesterday.
Oh, I didn't hear the A part.
Yeah, well, you don't listen to shit, so that's where we're at. So...
Hence the question.
What did I have? I had a Jeremy Jacks.
Jeremy Jacks. With a J?
So, JJ. He has a small line. He's a small batch. I never heard of him until I went into the Helios up the street. And I've had the JJ14.
Uh-huh.
So there's like a JJ14, JJ23. There's
so
different blends.
It's the same series, but it's like...
Yeah, it would be a different blend, right? So he'd put a different binder on the 23 than what he would do the other ones. Anyway, he had a Firefly. The JJ is very spicy, not in my wheelhouse. But the Firefly was perfect. So I'm smoking this thing, and Jesse comes over and he says, "Do you like that cigar?" And I said, "I do."
The manager of Helios.
Correct. I said, "Excuse me." I said, "Yeah, I really do." I said it was really spicy in the beginning, but I said, but this has got to be a 58 ring gauge because it's bigger than I like. I don't like 58's my max. You know me.
Yep.
58's my max. 60's kind of way over the top.
60's in my range.
So he said, no, it's a 54. And I said, there's no way. So we looked it up, and sure enough, it was a 54. And I was like, wow, this is thick.
Huh.
I mean, you could tell. And it was just I thought it was a Robusto. And I said, for a Robusto being
as thick as that,
it doesn't make sense. He said, well, it's an extra Robusto.
Oh, extra.
Oh, that's what we're calling it.
They're going to make that up.
You know, what people don't understand is there's so many different cuts, different forms, different lengths, different names of cigars. It's just
of the same cigar, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, so they make. So what is it? Robusto. You got a Toro. You got a Gordo.
Those are the common ones,
right?
Those are common.
Torpedo, obviously.
Right.
Then you can go into the Churchill.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can go into the Lancero. Right.
Yeah.
So these are all different versions of the same cigar, and along with that, they also have different ring gauges. You know, I would say the most common would be Toro.
Toro's common. Yeah.
With a Robusto following, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Close second. So those ones, it's pretty much the roll the same. It's just a different size. It's got the same binder, the same wrapper, the same leaf. It's just a different version.
It is a different version, but once you get to the bigger ring gauges, it adds more leaves, right? Naturally, right? To get bigger, you have to add more, right? So for it to be bigger, that's why some people would prefer a Robusto over a Toro, because there's more leaves or there's less leaves. It depends.
Well, it depends on if they like the taste or not, because I like, you know what I mean? Take nub out of play. Let's just go with...
Of course.
Let's go with that CAO that we were looking at yesterday.
Okay.
Okay, so here we are. CAO,
Brasilia.
One of a great
It's
smoke.
a great stick, yeah. The whole line is. Brasilia, Italia, the America,
right,
and Colombia.
Yeah. So if you really like the way that tastes, and you're just doing an average version, right? So a Robusto or a Toro or something like that.
Yeah.
Try the Gordo, and you'll see, because it has different hints. It has either a stronger leaf because there's more of it. Correct. A lot of people go with the Robusto because they don't like, how it tastes.
That's correct.
Or how it finishes or something like that. Mm-hmm. So even though it contains the same amount, or not the same amount, but the same leaf, the same binder, you may have less of an impact in a smaller cigar.
Correct. So if, let's say you have a Nicaraguan filler, and it's binded with a Dominican Republic, and then you put like a sun-grown or a Maduro on the outside.
Ooh.
I know, that actually sounded really good. That sounded really good. So that being said, so let's say that was a Gordo.
Okay.
Well, in order to make it a Robusto, right? Because you could have a Robusto in Torpedo, or you could have a Robusto with no Torpedo.
For sure.
But in order to make it a Robusto, you got to add more Dominican to it, right? It's not like you're going to add a second binder or a second leaf on the outside. You got to add more filler in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to totally change, because you're talking these leaves that came from a plant, fermented for years, and it's like a fine wine. And we've talked about this before, but you add more of that into this this cigar, and you get multiple different flavors. It's amazing. I really wish people would understand the science and what it takes just to make a cigar.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
It's not just a cigar. They've had one cigar, maybe at a club or something. I remember one of the first cigars I had was at a club, and whether or not it was at the right, what's the word I want?
Humidity.
Yeah. So if it wasn't well taken care of, and it's just on one of the roaming chicks that has around, and it's got the plate or whatever, and that's where it was. It was it wasn't at the beach. It was at whatever before Ice was. Remember at Koval and Harmon?
Right on the corner.
Yep. That used to be, I think it was Studio 54. Anyway,
I only remember Ice.
So I went in there before, and that's when I first bought my first cigar, and it was a Macanundo, and everything is named you know, you're smoking a name at that point.
Sure.
You know, you're not there because, you know, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So I cut off I had her cut off the cap for me. And then I lit it with a pack of matches.
Right.
You know
Which
what I mean?
isn't bad.
Yeah. And, you know, I just kind of smoked it. And I was like, whatever. You know, nothing really stood out. You know?
Yeah.
So if a lot of people just go down that road and they don't know what they're looking for or know what to ask, you know, to see if there's different versions or if there's different tastes and what to pair it with as far as alcohol or non-alcohol or coffee. You know, coffee
Huge.
just kind of accentuates everything.
It does. Plus, there's a lot of coffee notes
Right.
inside of cigar. Creaminess, right? Coffee, cocoa, those real rich flavors.
Right. So just to add to your point, you know, a lot of people don't know. You know, they think a cigar is a cigar, or maybe they think of a cigar as a fucking Swisher Sweet or something.
Right.
You know? But yeah, until you really dig in, yeah,
No idea.
yeah, talk to a couple cigar guys, whether in a cigar club or even at a bar or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I guess it depends on how much time and how much depth you want to go. Because we've done a lot of research on these.
We have.
You know.
I think just the fact that people don't understand this cigars that we're smoking literally were in the ground 5-6 years ago.
Mhm.
And if this is from the club, it's probably 8 years ago.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just unheard of. It's not a cigarette. It's not a cigarillo. It's not a Swisher Sweet. It's not a Black and Mild.
Yeah,
It's an art.
it is.
You know, that's what changed my mind on cigars. You know, I had cigars before, and I was like, oh yeah, this is nice. But then once I got the science of it, what goes in to actually making this,
Mm-hmm.
blew me away.
As well as which ones to stay away from too, because
Of course.
you know you have your humidor set up at home. You know, you started off with a coffin style, you know, a normal
Sure.
cigar box style humidor, and now look at you, you got the freaking
Got the refrigerator.
that thing holds like freaking 4,000 cigars.
It's a nice humidor. That's why I'm saying I don't know where this came from. I kind of just pulled it out. Anyway, cigars are awesome.
Well, I'm glad this is nice and tried and true.
Yeah, I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah.
So, hey, I know it's been a while since we started a podcast, but I wanted to talk about the shootings that have been going on
Right.
in our country, if you will. Oh, is that Adam?
Yeah. Adam just walked in.
He doesn't even recognize us. He did.
No, he does.
Oh, there he is. What's
What's going on, Adam?
How are you, bro? Good to see you.
Good to see you.
What's up, bro?
Cheers.
So Adam Barnum just walked in.
Pull up a seat right here.
Jump on in it, bro.
Oh, he can't do that. I know you're not busy.
We got
Yeah,
to
I know.
silence our stuff.
It's
Silence
silence.
everything.
Yeah, this is
The world
this is
can wait.
important work.
The world can wait. How's it going?
It's
So-
going great, man.
Adam, obviously Adam works for the same company as we do. Newly to it, though, right?
Yeah, very new. February. I
Okay,
started
cool.
working.
And what'd you do before that?
I was a union stagehand, rigger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, foreman, and,
And you've done that for how long?
20 years.
Nice. There
Yeah.
20 years, huh? All right, so Adam took my old boss's
Oh, that's
position,
right.
Sean Doan, right? So he's now a rigging manager. So you kind of jumped the fence on that one, huh, dude?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I got a lot of heat for it, too.
I bet you did.
Yeah. But, you know, it's all good.
Hey, you got to take care of your family, you know.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. And I was traveling a lot, so I just, you know, was done with the traveling. I got young kids. And, you know, being away from home for a month at a time just wasn't doing it.
That's
Yeah.
tough.
So opportunity arose and, you know, got the gig. So that's great.
That's good.
So
Well, congratulations.
Here I am, Dads with Ammo.
That's right. This is fun what Ross and I do. So we're always welcome. You know, we're always open to other people and, you know, giving insight, giving questions, giving concerns. Something either we could talk about or even come and get on a mic, dude. So
Yeah, I will say that, you know, doing a podcast isn't easy. People think it's just like, we'll just sit around a table and just bullshit and be okay. It's not. You know, there's the awkwardness and there's topics you got to talk about. But so we always welcome somebody to come in so we could see what the heck's going on. You know,
It's cool. I
Speaking
appreciate
of,
you guys
smoke
having
cigars?
me. You know, I don't, and I did, and I
All right, well, there's the door.
yeah. But I'll tell you why. I have a good reason. I smoked cigarettes for 22 years, and I quit smoking cigarettes 3 years ago. And I feel like if I smoked a cigar, it might trigger that,
Okay,
making me
I can
want to
respect
smoke a
that.
cigarette. So,
I
but
can respect that.
I smoked cigars when I smoked cigarettes. So,
Right.
you know.
Like Swisher Sweets or like
no,
cigars?
like cigars.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, there was probably a time in my life that Swisher Sweets was a thing, but I was like a teenager.
Yeah. It was a quick time.
Yeah.
Well, if you get a couple more beers and you want one, I have them.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
And
Right on.
I did the same thing. I smoked forever. I smoked right out of high school as soon as I was 18. And God, I can't tell you how many years I did, but it was a while. But at the time, I mean, shit, we could smoke on the show floor.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
All
So you can
all
actually
over.
you can work, you can do whatever. Yeah, it was very predominant, you know, and it doesn't have the activists that are here there now. The taxes weren't there. You know, it was actually affordable if that was a priority. And to stop smoking, went to chew, took off chew, went back to smoking, and then went back
Combine
to
them
chew.
both together.
Yeah, I was a mess, and I wasn't sure which direction to go. It took me a while just to quit smoking all in general, and when I did, it was great. And then I got cigars back in. I didn't really have the need or the want to go back to cigarettes. You know what I mean? So this was just kind of filled the void, I guess.
Yeah, and that's a transition period. I feel like I'd be able to make that transition without a problem. I don't want to ever go back to smoking cigarettes, but there's just always something in the back of my head that says, because of how many times I quit, and this time 3 years, I mean, I have no reason or want or desire to go back to smoking.
Well, congratulations for that, dude.
Yeah,
So,
that's great.
No doubt.
But I
So-
remember when we used to smoke in the ballrooms too. Like,
Sure.
I mean, they would let you smoke everywhere.
Crazy.
Now,
Malls, ballrooms,
Yeah.
on the forklift, anything you wanted.
oh yeah,
does anybody in your house smoke?
no,
So that helps out a lot.
yeah, it does. Yeah, I was the only one.
Even when Paul Robinson quit smoking, his wife still smoked. You know, and they're obviously close and things like that. I was like, man,
It's hard.
how does that work?
It's hard, man.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Luckily for me, nobody else smoked, so it was just me.
Yeah.
And my kids didn't really see that, so I mean, that's how long ago it was. You know, now they see me with a cigar every once in a while, and you know.
Yeah, I don't know, it's been about 10 years for me as well. Yeah, I smoke cigarettes too, but
Yeah.
we were just talking before you got here, Adam, this science behind these. You know, you don't inhale a cigar. You know,
Right.
one of these anyway. I guess Black and Mild or Swisher Sweets you can inhale if you want, but one of these you don't inhale. These are the science behind it. And I'm not saying you sit here every time you try to pull notes out of it and you try to make it, oh, I taste this and I taste that. For me, it's just nice and relaxing, and it never, ever pointed me back to cigarettes. Ever.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, Craig, but never for me.
No, I was glad to stop. I was really glad to stop. And, you know, I used the patch thing, and I really wanted to quit, you know what I
Right.
mean? So it was just one of those things that I decided to do it and kind of, you know, followed up with it. So
That's good. Well, congratulations to all three of us for no more smoking cigarettes.
There you go.
should we talk about guns? Or
Well, I do. I want to talk about the shootings that have been going on. Since it's been a while since we sat down and talked, and I really want to talk about the shootings. And let me read all this before we talk. Okay. So I'm basically going to go through the two major shootings that we had last week, and then I want to talk about it afterwards. So it's not lengthy; just gives a little bit of details of both, and then we could compare. Then we could compare what's differences or maybe the similarities between.
copy?
All right, so El Paso, Texas, August 3rd, 2019, at a Walmart Supercenter on the east side of El Paso, Texas. All right, 21-year-old Patrick Wood Crucis, something like that. Who cares? He doesn't need any recognition anyway.
Nope.
Eyewitnesses claim that the shooter, Patrick, was firing on customers in the parking lot before he entered the building. A store manager issued a code brown at the Walmart that basically tells people at Walmart active shooter. Code brown means
So code
active
brown
shooter.
means active shooter.
Correct.
In Walmart lingo.
Walmart lingo, code brown is active shooter. So if you're ever walking in Walmart and you hear that, duck. You need to.
No, that's good to know.
Yeah, get yourself to a safe location.
That's only Walmart lingo.
That's what we were being told. Correct.
It could be more, but in this case, it's
In
Walmart.
this case,
so.
right. It could be a
It
wide
could be,
range
yeah.
of...
It could cover a lot of stores.
Right, corporate speaking, if you will. So he designated code brown to all of his employees that witnessed the gunman beginning to fire in the parking lot. Right. So at 10:15, now let me rewind a little bit. So at 10:15, he put up a 4-page manifesto about anti-immigrant rhetoric on, I don't know if it was 8chain or something like that, where most of these douchebags actually put it on 8chain and stupid shit like that. In the docket, and he warned of an impending attack. Right. So that was 10:15.
Right.
10:37, he opens fire on a girls' soccer team.
15 minutes later.
Yeah. 16, 17 minutes later, he opens fire. Now, there's a girls' soccer team in front of the Walmart, right? Trying to sell candy bars or whatever they're doing to, try to boost their soccer club. Opens fire on them first.
Wow.
Yeah, right? He then continues his rampage inside the store, repeatedly. He's stalking victims now through the aisles, like he's playing a game. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Check this out. One witness described seeing victims near the shooter who became cornered, right? So this victim is cornered, can't go anywhere else. They're in aisle 15. There's nowhere else to go. They're in a corner. With nowhere to run, this witness then watches the gunman raise the rifle, aim it right at them, and starts firing.
Wow.
I mean, we're sitting at a table. How close could he have been? If you have nowhere else to go, how close could he have been? 10:39, so 2 minutes later, is when 911 basically registers the first phone call, right? 10:39. A guy named Chris Grant, who was wounded in the attack, says that the shooter targeted people who appeared to be Hispanic, but he was letting whites and blacks shoppers out of the building. Grant could have escaped, but he tried to distract the gunman by throwing soda bottles at him. The gunman then turned on him and shot him twice in the ribcage. The guy's statement said, "I did what any good man would have done." And we'll talk about that a little bit later, too. 10:45, the police arrived on scene, so we're talking 6 minutes later. And Patrick just surrendered, just completely surrendered. He just said, "Yep, here I am." It took first responders 6 minutes of the initial call. He was then arrested shortly after that. Shooting began, and of course charged with capital murder, shooting and killing 22 people.
Wow.
And injuring 24. So, and I'll talk a little bit about the gun that he used. So, he walked into the store carrying what they all believe to be, which now we know, it's a GPWA-SR-10. So GPWA-SR-10 stands for General Purpose Wassenaar Agreement Semi-Automatic Rifle. So basically, it's a version of an AK-47, is what it is.
That's what it looked like in the pictures.
Right, and it's based off of the Romanian Model 63, right? And the 10 stands for, when that rifle first came out, they had a low-capacity 10-round magazine, right, that fit into it. Now, of course, once it was imported, it was modified to fit the double stack, things like that. The round that was used was a 7.62 by 9.
Yeah.
By 39, I'm sorry. And then he actually confessed to the detectives that he was targeting Mexicans. That was his words with the detectives, all right? So that was basically El Paso in a nutshell. So let's fast forward to the Dayton, Ohio shooting. I say
So
fast. Go ahead.
So they didn't kill him.
Nope. He surrendered. He put his hands up and said,
So he's still alive.
He's still alive, still in custody.
In custody.
Yep. So I say fast forward. When Dayton happened, August 4th, it was just 13 hours after that shooting. It really wasn't a fast forwarding. This guy named Connor Stephen Betts, so he opened fire and killed 10 people, including himself, so he killed 9, and 27 others were injured. 17 of those 27s were shot, so 10 of those injuries were falling over,
running,
getting
and
hit,
getting stampeded,
over, right, things like that. Here's the kicker. He was killed by police 32 seconds after the very first shot, right? So
police were on the scene.
Yeah, so here's the timeline. 12:13 a.m., a couple hours before the attack. The gunman was seen entering Blind Bob's bar with his sister and another friend in downtown, the Oregon district in Dayton, Ohio. And I've been there because I used to live in Ohio. So about 35, 45 minutes later, he splits from those two. And they have surveillance and all of this. He leaves the bar. He then goes to his car. He changes clothes, puts on a long sleeve shirt. I couldn't tell if he changed, it's black and white video. Couldn't tell
Why
if
would
he
he?
changed his
Why would he
clothes.
change his shirt?
Yeah, why would he change his shirt?
Probably
That's
just to not, in his
Just
mind,
not to be noticed? Or?
he was thinking, yeah, I'm going to change my clothes. They're not going to notice
Yeah,
me.
they're not even going to know that I just walked out of here.
Because I look different. Right? He changed his clothes, put on a backpack, and started walking back to the district. Okay, so 12:13, 35 minutes later. So at 1:05 a.m., he was reported opening fire at the entrance of Ned Pepper's bar, which is not right next to, but very, very close to. And he was carrying a Anderson Manufacturing semi-automatic AM-15, which that's just the news making it. It's an AR-15.
AR-15.
It's an AR-15, and it's a shortened barrel with a pistol whip. I mean, that's it. Shoots a .223 round. But he also had a 100-round drum with it.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So he fired into the crowd, fatally shooting 9 people. One of them, which was his sister. Now, if we rewind,
I remember,
he was with his sister.
I remember
right?
reading that.
Okay. He was with his sister and a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Something, I don't know if an altercation happened, an argument happened, we don't know. And went back to his car, came back. And
His friend. It was like his best friend.
Yeah. Yeah, his sister and his best friend. So 20 seconds after the shooting began, the law enforcement officers already on the scene. So you got to know the district.
Okay.
So it's like, I don't know, 6th Street in Austin if you've ever been there. Or maybe let's just say Fremont Street, right?
Uh-huh.
Fremont Street's a little bigger because of casinos.
Blockwise, yeah.
Blockwise, but it's basically bar after bar. Just a cool place to walk down, right? So 20 seconds after that, law enforcement officers already on the scene engaged to the gunman. So within 30 seconds after the very first shot, the gunman was shot dead. And that's all on video if you want to see it, right?
And how many people?
So just
did he-
9 in himself.
So
He killed 9 people,
Mm-hmm.
and the other gunman killed 22.
22.
right, 9 in himself and 22. All right, so local police evacuated everybody nearby, warned everybody else, don't come here, blah, blah, blah. So after that was all done, check this out. So they search, they go to the shooter's home, and they find a bunch of writings that this kid did about killing people.
Fucking
And
whack jobs,
he's
dude.
just a whack job, dude. He did not indicate having a racial or political motive by any means. He just wanted to kill a bunch of people.
Yeah.
He was extreme in many ways. Even his classmates said that he had a hit list. People that he either wanted to kill or he wanted to rape. He was also in a band
Jesus
of
Christ.
porno grind. Have you ever heard of porno grind?
What is that?
It is like extremely heavy metal, and the lyrics are extremely violent.
Like
and
death metal,
It's
Yeah.
like
but worse.
what it
extreme
sounds
death
like.
metal with violent words and absolute violent graphic pornography, everything. It's just everything about this music.
Yeah.
From the,
Just
I'm gonna you, and I'm gonna you know.
see,
just
you
bad.
listen to that shit too.
Yeah, I had to make this podcast. It affected everything.
You got to do your research, bro.
So now the authorities are saying, was he really targeting his sister?
Yeah.
Right? And so there's more I want to talk about, but
You would think the sister would come in and try to
Maybe she
alleviate
didn't know.
that.
Maybe she didn't know. And the reason I say she didn't know is this guy was twisted, extremely twisted.
How old was he again?
He was 22,
How old was the other guy?
21.
So 22 and 21.
Yeah.
This guy was so twisted that we don't know if he had pornographic thoughts about his sister, and it came out.
Well,
She got pissed. They had an argument, and he said that maybe she and his friend made fun of him. Why would you want to do it to your sister, you freak? Who knows? None of us know.
I don't see why the sister would have any play. If the sister wasn't there, he still killed 8 other people. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. It's his sister being one of them. I don't think he had the intention.
I think
there's 2 different ways, 2 different sides
Sure.
of the story. Did he have the intention of killing his sister, and there was innocent bystanders in the middle,
or did she try to stop him from doing it?
or did she try
Like
to
a
stop?
normal sister would?
Or did she know nothing? She
Well,
said
she had to
went
know
to the next
something.
bar. Maybe she walked to the next bar. Her brother left.
She had to know her brother was a fucking whack job.
Well, apparently everybody in school did, so I'm sure she did. But would you ever think that your brother or sister would do anything to you
Not
like that? No. So All right, so I want to talk about the similarities of these
Well,
two.
because they're listening. No, I don't think so.
No, not at all. I would never do that. So I want to talk about the similarities of these two, right? So we go to back to El Paso. He had 6 minutes in a Walmart, all right?
They knew Code Brown before he even stepped through the door.
That was just Walmart.
I was just walking in Walmart. So he starts shooting at everybody in front of Walmart. Happens to be a girls' soccer team. And he goes in and he's playing a video game. And he's going aisle to aisle.
Yeah.
And he's shooting these people. I don't even like talking about this, to be honest with you. So
it's Walmart, dude. I mean, if you're going to shoot people, it's going to be a target-rich environment.
For
There's
sure.
Tons
There's
of fucking people
everywhere.
Yeah.
And he's isolating.
So here's my point of the whole story. Here's my opinion, my point of the whole story. 6 minutes, El Paso guy kills 22 people and surrenders. 30 seconds,
Into
Dayton,
killing.
Ohio,
Mhm.
he kills 9. So
And
the
gets shot
argument is, in those 30 seconds, did those police officers save 11 more lives, 12 more lives?
Oh, absolutely.
See what I'm saying?
No doubt.
So
about
this
it.
all goes back to, if we go back to everybody that was involved in both of these shootings, or not involved, just innocent bystanders. Let's say there was 200 people at Walmart, and there was 200 people at all the bars on the street.
Sure.
If one of them had a concealed carry,
Yep.
if that person that was in the corner in Walmart had a concealed carry,
Instead of soda bottles.
well, that was the second one. So
Oh.
the person in the corner, right?
Yeah.
If he had a concealed carry, he could have taken care of it. And that's what I said. Why don't we come back and talk about this? The guy that was throwing soda bottles, I did what any good man would have done. Well,
Sure.
if you were a good man, and I'm not putting him down by any means, I'm not.
He took 2 in the chest.
He took 2 in the chest afterwards. But if he wasn't throwing soda bottles and he was throwing ammo,
Mm-hmm.
how many more lives could he have saved? We don't know the timeline of who got killed when, but
So let me ask you this.
Mhm.
How many of these folks didn't bring their concealed carry into Walmart because they post that you can't have it,
that's another great question.
right?
That's
They
another
just
great question.
they just went down that road.
I mean, that's a conversation to be had. Private.
Is this Walmart along with that where they say no weapons?
I can't speak for that. I don't know.
You can buy them there, but you can't bring in your carry, possibly.
Right. I mean, let's face it. If somebody posts if Dave posts a plaque up here that says "No guns allowed,"
Yeah.
that doesn't supersede the law. All right. The law has a top 4 or 5 that you can't carry your gun. Right.
Yeah.
Courthouse, post office, airport, things like that. Just because you put a picture up on a piece of paper on the outside that says "No guns" doesn't mean
Conceal's concealed.
concealed means concealed. Right. So it just goes back to, and
Well,
I'm saying that a concealed carry person could have saved more lives.
Absolutely. Well, you remember, I think I talked about in episode 5. Remember the lady that got mugged?
Yes, I do.
Okay, she had a gun in her purse. And, I don't know if she was trained at it, but she fucking pulled that thing really, really quick.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? When she fought, fought those issues.
Right.
You didn't even hear that happened in this case. You would think.
No.
I mean, all these open carries go on at Walmart, dude. Every time I walk through Walmart, somebody's got a fucking gun.
Here,
you know?
yes.
And is it because of this? I'm sure that has something to do with it. But at the same time, I think you're going to find more often than not that, guys carry at Walmart, too.
I do.
Yeah.
Here, definitely in Vegas, they carry on.
Well, remember the Walmart shooting, I want to say it was a couple of years ago here in Vegas.
Yeah, was
guy
it
went in-
Cheyenne, and it doesn't matter.
And then he went into CC's Pizza?
Yeah.
Is it the same? That was the same one.
That
And he
was
killed those
on my
cops.
side of town. That was on the west side.
Yeah.
Or, excuse me, on the east side. He went in there, killed a couple people. There was a CCW guy there, because remember, he pulled a gun because he was
Yep.
with his sister or with an accomplice.
That's right.
He went to kill him. She saw him. She ended his life.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right
There
in
were
temple.
two,
Right
but
now.
there were 2 of them.
Yes.
2 active shooters.
And he,
Mhm.
and he went down. Then they left there, went down 1 block, right around the corner, and that's CC's, and that's where they killed the 2 officers.
2 officers. That's
Yep.
right. That's right.
Right through the window. I don't even think they went in. I think they just looked in the window and just started firing. You know what I mean?
Just pure hatred. Just pure
Yeah, I
hatred.
mean, you don't hear I don't know. In today's society, do you really hear about the CCW hero? No, because they're not going to give them.
Depends on what Facebook page you follow.
Yeah, they're not going to give them momentum.
They will not give them any.
And that's what's stupid, dude. All the shit. These are the guys that don't throw Coke bottles, just like you said, Adam. They're throwing hot lead.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And that's when it comes to active shooters. You can go in any form you want, and all you have to do as a CCW, as a civilized human, right? Gun pro, call it whatever you want. If you come into a active shooter situation, the best thing possible is to take them and confuse them, because it stops them doing what they're doing.
Exactly.
When you throw confusion, oh shit, I'm getting fired on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Their whole mindset changes. Their priorities change. Now they're playing defense instead of offense.
Sure. Now, a different subject. There was a girl that got abducted. I think it was in Iowa or Idaho or somewhere over there. She gets abducted. This guy takes her, brings her to his house, ties her up, duct tapes her, right? Sticks her in the tub in an ice cold bath. I mean, the story's disgusting. But she used that same mechanism, threw him off. She showed him affection. She showed him love, right? So then all of a sudden, it
threw his game off.
Yeah, light bulb turned on, and then all of a sudden he let her go.
Well, it wasn't interesting anymore, probably.
No, it wasn't.
He's probably
because
some
I'm not the
sicko that
dominant.
gets off on
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
He's looking for the fight.
Anymore.
Let her go.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the dominant, just like you said.
And there was the shooting in California before these two shootings that you're talking about. I don't know if it was a month ago or 2 months ago. And
Oh, you talking about a Gilroy?
yep,
The Garlic
Gilroy,
Festival?
the Garlic Festival. And I've driven through
Yes.
Gilroy 100 times, driving up to San Francisco. And that's an awesome, beautiful place. You can buy strawberries. It's awesome. And
Yeah,
I always
gorgeous.
talk to my wife. I'm like, we got to go to the Garlic Festival. That would be awesome. I love garlic. It's awesome. And when I saw this on...
Who doesn't love garlic?
Who doesn't love garlic? Yeah. And I'm like, we got to go to this garlic festival. And then I saw that on the news. I was like, oh, man, I don't want to go to the garlic festival anymore. But it's interesting that guy bought his gun in Nevada, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Was it in Las Vegas?
No, it was in Gardnerville. It was right
Oh, okay.
outside of Reno.
Now, if he wasn't going to get it in Nevada, he would get it somewhere else.
That's
Correct.
These guys are criminals. They're going to find a way to
And
get
if
it.
you don't get it at a store, you're
And
going to get it out of
nowadays,
a trunk.
You can 3D print guns.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
come on.
Right.
You're going to find a gun regardless. So they
It's
were
true.
kind of... Nevada was taking a little heat for that. Because we're...
So was
a
the
very
gun shop.
pro-
And,
you know.
not to interrupt you, they did a background check on the what was it, on the gun shop that sold it.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
And anyway,
I can
so
only imagine.
the owner of the gun shop, and like I said, it was right outside of Reno, so right
Because-
outside of Carson City.
40% of people want to blame the gun shop owner.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they're going to follow this. I just think that happened at October 1. What did they do?
Right.
They went to he bought from the same store, multiple
Right.
weapons.
Right.
You know, and what are they trying to go after him?
Well, they act
Come
like
on.
he's selling them heroin.
But see,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
the
it's
point.
horrible.
The owner even said that he passed with flying colors. He did not.
Correct.
He did not show any trauma, any issues of why I can't sell you that gun. So, I mean, he passed background check and he passed all that.
Well, let's make this really dumb. Let's take one of our children one of our kids are 16 years old and they're going to get their license. They pass with flying colors, right? They are an amazing driver, but they're driving down the road and they feel like running somebody over. Tell me what.
Yeah.
A little extreme, but what's the difference?
Well, they accidentally
They-
drive something.
They passed.
Right.
They passed.
It could be an accident. It could, I don't see it being.
It could be Dick Cheney. He gets...
He was a good driver. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. But no, my point is, you pass it. You pass the background check.
Sure.
You passed the test. You passed the drive test. You passed everything you were supposed to be passed.
Yeah.
Supposed to pass.
It must be the car's fault.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Or the guy that
Car's
sold you the
fault.
car. It's the car dealership's fault.
Yeah, it's a car dealership. That fucking wayward piece of shit.
Exactly. I don't know. There's no. I don't think there's no answer to it. Listen, and by us saying this and laughing about things, I don't think we're downplaying anything that has happened. It's a tragedy. I would never want to be involved in, and I honestly don't ever want to be the guy that's, instead of throwing Coke bottles, I'm throwing lead. I don't ever want to be that guy. I really don't. I carry every day, everywhere I go. I don't ever want to be that guy. I don't want to be in that situation. You know what I'm saying? But I'd be damned if I don't protect my family.
You're, as well as your fellow human.
Of course, as well as myself.
Yeah, the dude's throwing Coke bottles and took 2 in his chest.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's a stand-up dude.
Yeah, and he lived. He lived to tell about it. So that's great.
That's amazing too, with a 7.62 rounds going at you.
So I want to go over some of the leading cause of deaths, since we're talking about guns, talking about killings. Yep. So I pulled the top 10, and I'm just going to go down the line, and then I'll tell you where guns are at that point. So number 1 is heart disease. Last year, 647,457 people died of heart disease. Okay. Number 2 is cancer.
Let's blame the doctors.
Right? Cancer, 599,108. Number 3, unintentional injuries, which would basically be accidents, right? And here's the big jump. So you go from heart disease to cancer, which is basically 600,000 or higher. You go to just accidents, you drop down to 169,936. So you just took off 340,000 people. Go down to number 4, lower respiratory disease, 160,000 plus. Number 5, stroke and
it's all body related,
vascular disease. It's all body related, 146,000. Alzheimer's disease is number 6, 121,000. Diabetes is number 7. That drops down to 83,000. Influenza and pneumonia killed 55,000 plus people last year.
Wow, that's a lot.
Kidney disease.
No.
And kidney disease is number 9, 50,633. Number 10 is suicides. Now, it doesn't say anything about guns. It just says suicides, which can be drugs, guns,
and
jumping,
you can break
anything.
that down too, yeah.
Yeah, you can break that down very low. 47,173. Gun-related deaths that do not include suicides. Now, before I say this, I'm not downplaying what happened in these 2 cities and what happens in any mass shooting. I'm not. Hear my heart. I'm not. It's a tragedy.
It's good to compare.
Gun deaths, not including suicides, last year was 14,623. Now, that even gets broken down to accidental gunshots.
Mm-hmm.
Gets broken down to police having to, shoot somebody to protect them or somebody else.
Death by fire.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. That number doesn't even compare. Doesn't even come close to the top 10.
No.
Doesn't even come close.
No.
But none
But
of
yet,
us.
everybody wants to focus on that.
Yeah, and I don't want to sit here and sound like I'm a health nut, but nobody out of
Well, that's
basically 1
obvious.
through 9, basically 1 through 9 has everything to do with your health, what you eat, your exercise, and things like that. You come down, it's not even comparable,
No.
But all we hear is take the guns away.
So you're saying McDonald's kills more people than guns?
Mm-hmm.
I am basically saying that, Adam.
I would agree with that.
I'm
would agree.
basically saying that, and I come across this the other day, and I know it's cliche, and
It's
I know
that fucking Monopoly, bro.
yeah, I know it's cliche, and I know it's about the gun pulling guys, and you hear this on one side and not the other. But basically, it says when all the guns have been banned, and all the words have been censored, and all the history has been erased, when all the freedom that we have has been taken, only then will you discover why our right to bear arms was so high on the list.
For sure. For sure.
That's it right there.
Turning everybody into sheep, man.
That's it.
Sheeple.
Sheeple. That's exactly right. Again, tragedy, but
But those are facts. Those are numbers.
Those are numbers.
Numbers
Those are
don't
facts.
lie.
Yeah.
You You can't argue with math.
You can't. And the other issue I had with the whole thing is, because I've heard these arguments with other people as far as, well, it doesn't happen in Canada as much as it happens here. But I will say this.
That you hear.
Well, that you hear. But the population of all of Canada is 37 million plus people.
Right.
You come to the population of the United States, it's over 329 million.
Plus,
Doesn't even compare.
Canada's so cold, nobody wants to go
Nobody
outside.
wants to go there anyway.
Nobody wants to go outside their house.
It's easier to put the plates in. Your
Yeah,
24,
for sure.
24 layers. Your AR 500 ammo.
Anyway, that's my 2 cents on all that crap that's been going on.
That's good information.
I don't
Yeah, good job doing your research, man.
Thanks, man. I don't condone it. I don't want it ever to happen to anyone, here. But I want people to be able to protect themselves.
We want people to take away from that. You got to protect yourself as well as others.
Mm-hmm. Don't throw soda bottles.
Well,
lead. Save lives.
You just have to be more accurate.
It's true.
You got to shake it up first. You just got to break the seal.
Or throw some Mentos in there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know. And then if you're seeing somebody who's freaking in a band that poured pornographic, nasty, disgusting thoughts.
What is that? What is that music called again?
It's called porno grind.
Porno grind.
You're looking at unstable dudes. You know what
Totally
I mean?
unstable.
Come on.
Yeah.
And that's what Trump was saying to begin with. He's like, no, it's not the weapon, it's the guy.
Yeah.
Look at the guy. Look at where it came from.
Yeah, exactly.
His motive was not, I was like, oh, no, I'm going to start killing people because I don't know anybody else.
Well, since you brought up Trump, I'm going to sit here and disagree with his statement of the red flag law or the red flag rule or whatever he said it was. Basically, where I could call the authorities and say, hey, Officer Craig, this Adam guy over here, he's a nutcase. He owns a bunch of guns. And,
right.
And the backstory is he pissed me off because he's my neighbor.
Sure.
And he won't let me put my lights up because he didn't sign my HOA document.
Yeah, you see him walk into his truck and he's got a gun in his hand.
I'm calling the red flag right now. So I don't agree with that. And that's just another way to take our rights away. And that's just my opinion. I don't know if you guys heard about that or read up on it, but my opinion is I don't agree with it. I don't think you or I or anybody should be able to point out. Now, it's okay to call the authorities and say, hey, check on this because this person kind of unstable.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing.
And then when they show up, just kind of hit them with the hose and throw water balloons at them. You know what I mean?
Who, the police?
Yeah.
Apparently you can. Apparently you can.
You see all that bullshit that's going on?
It's ridiculous.
It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
These are the guys that are helping you out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there's some bad ones, but...
Of course, there's always bad.
Yeah.
But I will give those guys a lot of credit.
First responders, dude, that's the one that ended 6 seconds going into it.
6 seconds.
Stupid.
Yes, 6 seconds. And I think those officers...
You're not going to get that response anywhere else.
No, and they saved a lot of lives.
Yes.
They must have been there on the street.
They were. And you
the
could see them on video.
waiting.
You could see them walking the streets. Because like I said, this district is basically bar after bar. There's outside porches and things like that where everybody's partying and you hear bands, live bands everywhere. And they were patrolling. It was their overtime. It was them walking around. And I mean, thank God they were there.
For sure.
Well, there's a reason why those guys are there. It's well spent overtime.
Right.
That's our tax dollars at work right there.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Or their tax.
I condemn them. I totally am thankful for them. All right. So anyway, episode 7. I think that was good. Adam, thanks for stopping in, bro.
Hey, thanks, guys. This is awesome.
Yeah,
you should
appreciate
come
you
down
coming.
more.
Excellent. Absolutely. Anytime.
Thank you to you again, Ross, for doing
Yeah.
your research, man.
Mm-hmm.
That was well played, sir.
My pleasure.
Good deal. So hopefully we open some eyes and some of our listeners. And again, if you want to comment, throw a question,
Please
do a subscribe.
Please do. Hey, if you got an issue to talk about, right? Just throw a comment in there and we'll talk about it. I got no problem with that.
We're definitely out there. We definitely listen to the guys when they come up to the desk all the time.
Oh, for
you
sure.
know what I mean? So anyway, yeah. So you guys got any comments or anything? Just let us know, and we'll cover it up.
All right. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks again, Adam.
Thanks, folks.